15 seconds.
No, don't do it.
It's already happened.
No.
It's already happened.
Everybody.
I'll be back.
I guess he's so ice 2, please, Steve. Steve, record the intro. He should, right? I love how he's getting so much more fluid and confident in his audio. Yes, please, honey. His audio stuff. I think he does a great job. Oh, so we were busy this week. We had, sorry for the yawning. There's a really good reason for it today. Our grandson, Teddy, came into town. He brought his parents with him, Kyle and Nikki. And then Lindsay and Nolan and Forbes and Santa drove up from San Diego. So we had a full house for about 24 hours. And then we went to a wedding with Nikki and Kyle. Well, we didn't go to the wedding. We took care of the baby while they were at the wedding. And unfortunately had a little incident that we took him to the emergency room. And so we got to sleep at about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. So we're sleepy. He's fine. Everybody's fine. It was precautionary, but it was a little scary. Oh, and I did forget to do, I didn't do roll call, Al suggests. Or who said that? Where'd it go? Yes, you should have done the roll call. Now I haven't done it yet, but I will now. Here we go. We've got Ian and Jill and Rose and Sandy and Steve and Michael and Al. A small house tonight. Are you back, Steve? I told him I don't hear you, Steve.
How about now?
I do now. I just explained to them why I might be yawning a little bit, that we had our fun at the emergency room last night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was interesting, but things turned out well. That's what counts.
There's the roll call. It's been a long time, Al.
Oh, let's get that playing. There we go.
I'm so mad. That's been taken down from YouTube.
Really?
And the entire web, the whole roll call episode. The chess championships.
The Spartans.
Yep. I don't know why. I don't know why that happens. That's gone. And the other one I used to love to play all the time was Billy Joel and the talk show host. What's his name? The guy that likes to sing with people.
The Lion Tonight. What?
The song they sang. They sang together. The Lion Sings Tonight.
The Lion Sings.
And it was amazing. What's the actor? The guy's name that did the talk show though. What's his name? You guys know. Young guy. He took like Tonight Show. Maybe took over, and he's young and he's kind of shaggy. He sings all the time on his shows. Somebody's got to know.
I'm sure someone. That's why. No,
Jimmy
not
Kimmel.
Jimmy.
No, not Jimmy Kimmel. Like Jimmy Kimmel, only not.
Yes.
Jimmy Fallon. There we go. See? All right. Well, like I said, this is going to be a short show because we have a pre-recorded bit, but the show will be long.
But the live portion will be short.
Right. All right. I think I'm ready to go. Wait, do you see the red button is lit up fully red, Jill? Is that a new enhancement in the upper left? The track being armed, it's like got a big red thing around instead of just the button turning red. Yeah, it's new, glowy. Yeah, is that the same one, Al? I'm gonna copy that link from you and check it out. But there are other episodes that are still up, but I don't know if that's the real one. All right. Oh, I gotta stop. Make sure YouTube doesn't play. All right, let's go. Let's get the show on the road. You ready, Steve? Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Ready.
And I do still have the cough, in case anybody's wondering. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, November 12th, 2023, and this is show number 966. Well, this is going to be a nice, big, beefy show, but a lot of it was produced in a little bit of a different way. I've got an article by me But Jill and I did a little conversation where we talked through something rather than her doing a monologue about it. And that's a really great segment. And Bart's got security bits, but it's a solo security bits. Because this week, my grandkids, a whole bunch of them came into town. I was missing two, but we had Kyle and Nikki and Teddy and Lindsay and Nolan, Forbes and Sienna here and had a big play weekend. And so I needed a lot of help. And so we got there in the end. And I think you're going to like it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get started. All right. Yep. Where's the sound? For the love of Pete. All right, Jill, your next job is to figure out how to get my my button on my Stream Deck working to switch between two audio inputs and to get it to stay. Yeah, the other two grandkids stayed home alone. They're, they're old enough. They're 3 and 2 now. So, that was good. Oh, Steve. No.
What?
No. You wrecked my joke. Delete marker. Come on. No. Did they change? Oh, I put mark. Did I mean chapters, not markers? Markers are like chapters. No, they're different. That's what they are. That's what's wrong. I put up markers and not chapters. So there we go. That's why it's not making chapters when I'm telling it to make chapters. Okay. There we go. Which, by the way, is called a marker.
Chapter marker.
Well, markers. It has to say chapters at the top for it to work. All right. Here we go. Last week, I forgot to tell you that I was on Cord Killers again with Tom Merritt and Brian Brushwood. This is a great podcast that I really love. It's all about TV and movies, and they really try to emphasize watching what you want, when you want to watch it, and how you want to watch it. So they talk about, what technologies to use or what kind of channels to get to be able to watch the things you want, but how to make sure you get the content that you want. And it's really, really fun. We talked about recent surveys of teens and young adults that found they would like less sex and romance in their content and more friendships and platonic relationships. That was pretty interesting discussion. We also talked about whether Martin Scorsese's insistence that people sit through his 3-hour and 26-minute movie without an intermission is reasonable, and why director David Fincher might not want to make a sequel to The Social Network. It was great fun, and I really felt like I had a lot to contribute in this episode. I'm kind of intimidated by these guys because they watch everything and they know all these details about who's making the movies and who's in the movies and how they were made, and they know so much more than I do. But I felt like I held my own this time. Anyway, you can find Cord Killers in your podcatcher of choice, of course, but you can also look for episode 478 or search for my name in the title. And of course, I've made it easy for you by making the chapter title in the show notes a direct link to this episode. Oh, would you guys sit through a 3-hour and 26-minute movie without an intermission?
Nope.
Nope. I think we can make it about 45 minutes, right, Steve?
What? Say again?
We make it about 45 minutes, maybe?
No, I can do an hour and a half, 2 hours at probably the most.
I can't.
Unless I have no liquids.
Well, that's the thing. All right. So we're going to hear from me first, I think, here. Let's see how I do. That was hard to make it that long without stopping to cough. You sat through a 9-movie Planet of the Apes marathon?
Wow.
I bet you took a break, though.
Yeah, there had to be breaks between the movies, right?
So the story is that theaters were putting an intermission into the movies, and Martin Scorsese for that movie. And Martin Scorsese was really mad and told them they couldn't play the movie if they were going to do that.
Which movie?
I forget the name of the movie. It didn't sound like something I was going to see if it was 3 hours and 26 minutes anyway. So, all right. Here we go. Oh, yep. Good job, Ian. Save. Oh, and add chapter marks. He gave his excuses. Oh, he has to be up at like 3 a.m. or something to do some talk. I don't know. Okay, here we go. In 2009, on episode 195 of the NosillaCast, listener Scott Patz suggested I take a look at an app called DVDpedia from Brugy to catalog and organize my DVD library. I tested it out and I reviewed it for the show and I loved it. And I've been using it for the past 14 years. Now, you may wonder why we catalog our DVDs, now Blu-ray and UHD discs. And it's the same reason I catalog our expensive belongings in our house using the awesome Under My Roof software from Binary Formations. If you have a fire, flood, earthquake, or theft from your home, the insurance company is far more likely to reimburse you for your belongings if you have some kind of proof of what you owned and not just a paper receipt. If you have a small collection of physical media, this wouldn't be a concern, but we have over $10,000 worth of discs in our collection, so it's worth a little bit of effort to scan them in when we buy new ones. Steve also rips our physical media to our Plex server, and we use a customized field in the DVDpedia database to mark which items have been ripped. In my mind map of doom, trademark Donald Burr, for my nuke and pave process, DVDpedia isn't a mission critical or even a high priority app because I can get along for a while without it. But it always has maintained a position of importance to be installed before I consider the pave complete. Now, as you know, when I do my true paves, I install every single app from scratch. Okay, you got to get that out once without making a mistake. I did hear Best Buy going to stop selling soon. It was comedic on Cord Killers. I brought up that my latest DVD purchase was the Barbie movie from Best Buy, and they had just reported on it being stopped. I'm sad about that. Oh, my Best Buy is not. My Best Buy is great. As you know, when I do my true paves, I install every single app from scratch. DVDpedia is listed in my mind map as being in the Mac App Store, but imagine my surprise this time when I went to install it and I did not find it there. I went to Brugy's website and I used the download button there, but then I noticed a very sad word. It said sunsetting next to it. Just a week or two before I went to download DVDpedia, developer Connor had announced that he was stepping back from programming and was going to prioritize spending time with his family, and therefore would be sunsetting all of the Pedia apps, including DVDpedia. Now, I can't say that I was super surprised about this, as development seemed to have stalled many years ago. While it still functioned as well as it did on day one, there hadn't been any new functionality or even a new coat of paint in a very long time. Now, even though DVDpedia continues to function, I knew it was time to move on. In fact, the sunsetting of DVDpedia gave me the push to do something I'd been contemplating but was too lazy to start, and that's moving all of my DVD collection into Under My Roof. I've been thinking about it ever since I did a Screencast Online tutorial about Under My Roof, and I scanned in our Star Trek discs to demonstrate how to create a collection. I'm not sure this will be a story that helps you in your own life, but the transition between these two apps showed me that both sets of developers had made a significant effort to ensure data portability. DVDpedia made it easy for me to export the data, and with a smidge of handholding, Under My Roof made it easy for me to import the data. It was kind of a fun exercise, so I thought I'd tell you about it. The DVDpedia main window is filled with useful information. There's a table containing all of your DVDs, and it has columns that you can drag around, hide, or reveal, and even create to make sure you have all the information you like to see at your fingertips. At the bottom, you can see the details of the selected DVD, including album artwork, and on the left, you have any groups you've created. Across the top is a typical set of menu icons to add, delete, and edit your database, but the one that was delightfully obvious was a nice big export button. DVDpedia has so many export options, it's crazy. I really shouldn't dwell on how cool DVDpedia was, but you could even export to HTML and it would build these beautiful web pages with images and descriptions of the movies. Anyway, one of the options is to export to text, and you can set it to export to CSV, which stands for comma separated values. On my first export to CSV, it seemed to be missing a lot of the information I was hoping to get. I was bummed, especially knowing that support emails would not be returned. But then I went back to the export window and I actually read what he had written. It says, the tab and CSV exports are based on the columns shown in the list view. Okay, I went back to the main menu, and main window, I should say, and sure enough, I didn't have the columns visible that I was looking for, couldn't figure out why they weren't showing. It was simple enough to turn them on and do a new export, and I had a good CSV file with all of the details I wanted. Drink. You probably remember that I'm a huge fan of Under My Roof as my inventory for everything in my home and everything about my home. My latest article about all of the awesome capabilities was just this year in April. I figured that as well written as this app is, it was bound to have an import function for my CSV file. But for the life of me, I could not find it. I wrote to Diane, my contact at Binary Formations, who does all of the spectacular documentation. By the way, her husband is the developer. And I asked Diane, where do I find an import button? I was really hoping to find one in here. Well, it turns out Under My Roof is all in one window. It has left sidebar navigation for how you want to view your stuff. It has tabs across the top depending on what you're viewing. It's got separate columns for information and plus buttons in different corners, and even a 3-dot menu in a circle. But none of these revealed anything about importing data. When I wrote to Diane, she got back to me very quickly, and she patiently pointed me to the hamburger menu in the upper left, which takes you to the options pane, where there's an import button that allows import from CSV. I'm glad I wrote to Diane first because she made a suggestion that was invaluable. So what I was going to say. Well, I don't know what it is about this hamburger menu that reveals the options pane, but I never think of looking there. There's a whole lot of stuff in there. Remember, I did a video all about using this tool, but I don't think to look there. There's something about it. My brain is blind to the information that's hidden in there. So I never think to do it. But anyway, I'm also glad I wrote to her first because she made a suggestion that was invaluable in what I was trying to do. Since I have a lot of data in my Under My Roof database, importing nearly 400 new records could be quite messy to clean up if I made any mistakes. She suggested that I create a new home, which of course I called Delete Me Home, and import the DVDs into that home first. That way, if anything got messed up, I could just select all, delete, and try again. Now, I said earlier that you probably wouldn't learn anything from this story, but I lied. That's a really good thing to put in the back of your brain if you ever need to import data into an existing database. I'm guessing a lot of NosillaCast castaways have had to do that, and I'm guessing all of them learned this the hard way, and they probably have great horror stories that they should tell me. Well, anyway, Diane pointed out to me that Under My Roof comes with a category for DVD Blu-ray discs that has a custom field layout that includes fields like director, actor, studio, all those great fields. She told me how to edit the field layout to customize it to make sure I had all the fields I'd need that would be incoming from my database. Importing the CSV brought up a window to map the fields that Diane had told me to make sure I had available. I went back and forth a bit until I had it all lined up beautifully with title matching to title, genres matching up, and directors and more. Hey, Steve, directly above the image you just pasted, I said I had it all liked up beautifully, and that should be lined up beautifully.
Okay. Oh, got it.
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. While I had it all lined up beautifully, it failed to import with an error that said, you must have a field that the item's name in order to import items from this CSV file. And I read that over and over and over again. You must have a field that the item's name in order to import items from the CSV file. Well, I wrote to Diana and I said, I'm pretty sure that's not a sentence and I don't know what you mean. So I had to bother her. And, she really should stop being so helpful because it's easier to ask her than bang my head against the wall trying to figure it out myself. The one thing I don't like about all the databases I've dealt with, and I get caught up on this every time, is the first field is always like a sacred field. It means something to be the first field. All the other fields, you can rearrange them, do whatever you want, but that first field, it's sacred. As Diane patiently explained, the title of the movie had to be called Name, not Title. Well, it was quick work to change the CSV file, just change that top word from title to name, and then it would match what Under My Roof wanted, and then it imported beautifully. And I think she's also going to fix the grammar. She's really good at being precise on grammar, so I think she appreciated that tiny little help from me. Anyway, Diane had also explained to me earlier that the images from DVDpedia would not import since CSV's files cannot contain images. So I was able to suck in all the data, but I didn't have all of the DVDs. That's not what I wanted to say. Anyway, Diane had also explained to me index field. Is that the sacred one? Anyway, Diane had also explained to me earlier that the images from DVDpedia would not import since CSV files can't contain images. So the CSV file came in fine, but I didn't have the images. Now, after I moved all of my DVDs from my Delete Me home to my real home in the DVD category, it was time for the incredibly tedious and not fun, but terribly boring part of this project. One of the many export options in DVDpedia is a .dvdpedia file. A quick right click to show package contents reveals an XML file of all of the data and a folder of all of the cover images. Now, a backup export can also give you the same thing, but the images are a little bit more buried. Now, here's the sad part. The DVD cover images are labeled 1.jpg, 2.jpg, 3.jpg. So that would be okay if the cover images happen to be alphabetically sorted but just had numerical names. Sadly, they're numerically in the order of when I added the DVDs to my database in DVDpedia. So they're not in order at all. Now, the import process as a result was quite painful. I put DVDpedia at the top of my screen with Under My Roof below it. I selected the DVDs category in Under My Roof, and I selected the tab for photos, so it'd be ready to drag in those images. Now, to the right, I opened the Finder window to the right on the right-hand side in List View, and I set the view options in Finder to make the larger icons so I could sort of see the images. I would then select an image file, hit the space bar to bring it up in Quick Look. Now I could see clearly that 1.jpg was whatever movie, Lion King, let's say. And now in the Under My Roof window with the DVD showing, I could use the search window to type in the fewest number of characters I could think of to quickly find that movie. My right wrist had been hurting over the course of that week. It's better now, but it was hurting. And so just typing a couple of characters was making me crazy, and especially having to do it over and over and over again. So I wanted to type the fewest number of characters. Now, once I got the fewest number of characters to get that movie to pop up in Under My Roof, I could drag the JPEG from the Finder window into the Photos tab for the Lion King DVD. Okay, that's one done. I had 378 movies to do. Anyway, so since I'm still in the Finder window, I can use my arrow key to go down to the next DVD, and the Quick Look image will change automatically. No need to spacebar in and out of Quick Look. Well, that worked most of the time. Every once in a while, the image would be super high resolution, so it'd fill up my whole screen, so I'd actually have to spacebar out of Quick Look to see the images to drag them into Under My Roof. Now, back to the Under My Roof window, I have to select the area, the text area in search, and do another search. So I can't just start typing. I can't like Command F and start typing. I have to actually go into the text area and select the text. There is a little X to remove the previous search, but it doesn't auto select the text. So it was easier to select it every time. Again, tedious. Actually, I did this so long, I moved my trackpad to the left, my left hand, because my right hand was getting so sore. Anyway, you might be wondering why I had DVDpedia open at the same time with Under My Roof and all these images. When a handful of cases, I found either mistakes or missing information or duplications of media that I needed to cross-check, so I was sure glad DVDpedia was still working for me. In the show notes, I made a little silent movie showing the tedium so you could feel my pain. And I want you to note in the video, you can see that we have these 378 items in our collection. So I repeated this process that you're going to see in the little movie 378 times. I really want you to feel my pain. It was terrible. Sorry.
You're still muted.
Oh, so I am. Yeah, I see you see my pain, Sandy. I hope we can do yours easier than mine. Sandy has her quilting books in Bookpedia, which is also from Brugy. So I'm going to try to see if I can help her work on that. All right. I also put a link, screenshot in the show notes, I should say, about. I also put a screenshot in the show notes of how the DVDs were displayed in DVDpedia and how nice they look in Under My Roof. Now, talking bottom line here, you may all think I'm nuts for going through all this work to track physical media when everything's available on streaming, but we really like our physical media, and we also really like being able to look up which movie we're looking for to see if we really own it. Like I was going through this, and for some reason, we only own Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4. What happened to Toy Story 1 and 2? I think I need to add them to my Christmas list. That's what I need to do. Well, anyway, it only took me a few sessions to do all of this, and now I'm very happy that everything under my roof is in Under My Roof. I'd also like to thank Connor for 14 years of support for DVDpedia and for making it so easy for me to export my data. Very last line, Steve, it says for a DVDpedia. It should just say for DVDpedia.
Okay.
Lindsay's house. Oh, yeah.
For a DVDpedia. Nice.
Alrighty. And that's the last thing I'm going to read.
Give your voice a break.
Yeah. Nope, that's not it. I liked doing this one. Jill and I did this fun conversation. And focus modes with Jill. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't end up doing any show notes with our bullet points, Jill. Let's see, this is Jill by herself. Let's see on that one.
I want to hear Jill's plink.
Jill.
Didn't separate?
No, Jill, I think you gave me both of us combined. Unless. No, what? Yeah, you did a plink. We should at least get her plink recorded. Telegram, and she started telling me a story. Oh no, can you hear that? You've got me on the background. A hold of his own child, and I think this is when you actually start talking. So welcome to the show. Allow this person to get a hold of them in an emergency. So welcome to the show, Jill.
Hi there. It's good to see you again.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to look at that session and see how that works. Because I can't separate them. That's okay. I did get yours. We didn't get her plink though, which is sad.
Oh,
I don't think. Yeah. We get me with a deep breath there for some reason. Actually, we should put the Happy Jill music in.
yes.
Remind me to do the Happy Jill music every time Jill's on. I don't remember where we bring it in, but let's see how this sounds. My data. Well, I was chatting, as I often do, with my good friend Jill from the North Woods over on Telegram. And did that transition okay, Steve?
I think so.
Okay. And she started telling me a story about an interesting problem that happened when the father of a friend of hers ran into an emergency situation and wasn't able to get a hold of his own child, and ended up getting a hold of Jill. And she wanted to explain why this happened and what these people could have done to have allowed this person to get a hold of them in an emergency. So welcome to the show, Jill.
Hi there. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, we thought you could do this as a standalone thing, but I have a lot of questions. So I wanted to be in the middle instead of writing to her afterwards and going, but what about this? What about this? What about this? So I'm going to just interrupt you as you explain the whole story. How's that sound?
That sounds great. All right. Well, it happened about a month ago, and my phone starts ringing in the middle of the night.
Jill is quite a bit hotter.
I use the focus mode of sleep so that I don't hear anything happen.
It
and so I was
sounds that
caught
way
a
to
little
me.
bit off guard, like, what is
Doesn't
that?
look that way.
She sounds perfectly level to me on this here.
Okay.
What are you guys hearing Jill hotter? You hear that too? How weird. Why would that be?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe levelator or whatever you're using these days.
Well, no, but it's already level.
It
I'm
appears
loud
that
in
way.
life, she says.
Now, it's interesting. They're listening on Discord, I assume. Maybe not. I'm listening on StreamYard.
Wonder what happens if I listen on Discord. Do I hear? I've never listened to see if I can hear this. Writing to her afterwards and going, but what about this? What about this? What about this? So I'm going to just interrupt you as you explain the whole story. How's that sound?
That sounds great. All right. Well,
It's
it
just
happened
a little hotter.
about a month ago.
3 dB at
And my
least.
phone starts ringing in the middle of the night, and I use the focus mode of sleep so that I don't hear anything happen. And so I was caught a little bit off guard, like, what is that? Pick up my phone, and it was my friend's father. Now they are older, and his wife, my friend's mother, has not been feeling very well lately and has had some urgent care, kind of events. Calls me and he's in tears, and he says, well, I tried to call my children and none of them are answering me. And so I live a block away. So get dressed, I head over there, and I check in and see what we can do. And
You're muted.
At least 2 dB hotter in YouTube, PDX Kurt says. So what if I don't have any volume control settings, do I? Yeah, so I've got echo cancellation, automatically adjust mic volume. You know what? This got messed up. I bet that
Settings in what?
in the StreamYard settings.
Oh,
Listen to the difference now. Afterwards and going, but what about this? What about this? What about this? So I'm going to just interrupt you as you explain the whole story. How's that sound?
that sounds great. All right.
still
Well, it happened.
still hotter.
By a lot.
Same. Sounds the same.
Okay. And you're now listening in YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
It's very evident when right after you speak, she first talks, the difference is most evident then.
Okay. Yeah, well, it is. You can see it's a little hotter, but not that much.
No, it doesn't appear that much.
So I'm going to just interrupt you as you explain the whole story. How's that sound?
That sounds great. All right. Well, it happened about
Did you make a change there?
I did. Did it change?
That
Sound
sounds
different?
better.
Here's a spot where I'm like right about her volume. Ran into an emergency situation and wasn't able to get a hold of his own child. And
that sounds great. All right.
You can see it on your bar. On your,
I just
audio
did something different. I wanted you to respond to that.
All
So
right.
this spot over here, you can see it's about the level that she's over here. So I'm jumping from here over to here instead of the lower part. So
Look at
listen to
your
this.
audio levels when you do that.
I'm sorry?
Look at the audio level at the bottom when you play you versus her. Look at the levels they achieve.
Wait, he says Jill came down. Yeah, no, I didn't do anything to Jill's audio, so it shouldn't, Kurt. But let's listen to this here. Emergency situation and wasn't able to get a hold of his own child and ended up getting a hold of Jill. Okay, and then here.
That sounds great. All right. Well, it happened about a month ago.
I mean, it's off by a little, but I mean, it's not much.
That sounds better. I don't know what you did, but
So
it sounds
that's
a little
echo
better.
cancellation turned off.
Okay.
I think echo cancellation might be the thing that makes you not be able to hear music.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, but you could hear it before. Let's make sure you can hear it. Mac over here.
No, this is in StreamYard.
I want you to hear the music. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast. Is that okay?
Yep.
It's not garbly.
Nope.
Okay. Huh. Okay. Well, let's see. Now I don't know where I was in the story. Oh, it did sound broken at the end of it? Okay, hang on. Let's see. Here, let me just do the whole intro. Come on. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, November 12th, 2023, and this is show number 966. Well, this is going to be a nice, big, beefy show. Okay. All right. I think that just got reset, but all right. I'm going to tease you. You guys are going to have to listen now since you made me stop. You're going to have to listen to me do the rest of the show. We're going to skip the rest of Jill. I was just going to play a little bit more, but let's listen up to the end here. Anywhere, the best place is what in our
Start with
Slack?
smallsteps.com is probably the best place, and your Slack channel. Those are the two places I hang out.
I talked over that a little bit, so I'm going to say it again. Startwithsmallsteps.com. What in our
Start
Slack?
with small steps.
Actually, I'm going to not talk over you, and I'm not going to say Spart. Jeez, you're a big help. Spart.
Thanks, Ian.
What do you say? Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. That's a great way to do it. Do it. Spart. All right, now it says that. Anywhere, the best place is...
Startwithsmallsteps.com is probably the best place, and your Slack channel. Those are the two places I hang out.
I talked over that a little bit, so I'm going to say it again. Startwithsmallsteps.com, her fabulous podcast. You should subscribe to them all. The Podcasting Empire of Jill McKinley.
Right.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. There we go. A little too much gap there. Okay. Yes, your podcasting empire. How could we forget? She's got Small Steps with God and Start with Small Steps. And you started recording some of your nature one too, right? Okay. Oh, support the show. Because Kevin said it. I got to get... Steve, get a screenshot of what Ian did and send it to Kevin. He'll love that. Copy link. Doo-doo. All right. I think the first episode should be that tree falling in the woods right in front of you. All right, here we go. If things are tight financially for you, I don't want you to consider support. Start my rhythm up. Maybe I should have a jingle of some money. Some coins shaking. Made myself laugh. If things are tight for If things are tight financially for you, I do not want you to even consider supporting the podcast financially. Every once in a while, someone does that. When they do it, they really shouldn't. I feel super guilty about it. I like having the show not cost me money to produce, and I consider it a labor of love to create this content for you. If you can afford to support the show, it would be swell if you did to cover the folks who can't afford it. I'd be happiest if we had lots and lots of tiny donations. $1 a month from enough people is enough money, right? Anyway, consider going to podfeet.com/Patreon and showing your support for the Podfeet podcasts. All right, and then we got security bits. I'm afraid we're almost done, guys. All right. Poor Bart, a solo show.
And that probably means no plink.
Oh, yeah. Well, I could play a plink.
Well, plinkless.
We could be plinkful. Let's see. This was one of my favorites.
I shall plinky the plink plinks.
That's a classic.
I don't know, that's a variation.
Oh, and you know, we could play a Jill Plink. She missed her plink.
Plink. I'm not as cute as
No, don't talk over it. It's not done. It's a long one.
Plink. I'm not as cute as Bart is. Plink.
There we go. Plinksgiving.
Oh, sorry. We have to
Nice
play the classics because we have time.
Blinky blink. Blinky blink.
Forbes must have been like
3.
5 or 6 then.
Oh, he's 6 now.
No, he's 7, honey.
Did he just? Oh, I guess he is, yeah.
Who's this?
Blinky blink.
That's Bart. Oh, and this for no reason. I love this one.
Yay. Yay.
I get the feeling you're trying to fill some time here.
Oh, I am. Oh, we could be done super early. We were late letting you out last week. Oh, I didn't put a chapter mark, you guys.
Ooh. Even after the Ian/Kevin reminder
Well,
up there.
I didn't get another one.
No.
That was you got to do it every time.
All right, here you go.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Betting him. I thought Al would be trying to take over, but good. He's staying in his lane. He's got his job and he
I don't
does
think
it.
Al is with us any longer. I mean,
Oh, Steve,
here in the
phrasing.
phrasing, in the chat room.
All right. Let's see. Feed podcasts.
Hi folks, Bart here with a solo security bits. Please forgive me as I don't quite do a good job of channeling my inner Alison to challenge myself when needed, but I'm going to do my best. As I say, I always miss Alison when she's not around to keep me on track in these security bits. So let us get stuck in with some follow-up on some stuff we talked about before. We talked last time about attackers running a bunch of campaigns to succeed in getting malicious ads for software into Google Ads, and that continues. There's now a different app has successfully gotten malicious ads into the Google Ad network. This time it's CPU-Z, which is apparently a popular app for profiling your CPU performance. You know, gamers like these kind of things. Again, it shouldn't be possible to get malicious stuff into Google Ads, so not a good development. The SolarWinds saga has taken an interesting little twist. The Securities and Exchange Commission in the United States, they're the people responsible for regulating the stock market and stuff. Believe it or not, they are involved because they are suing SolarWinds basically for misleading investors by telling everyone everything was absolutely hunky-dory fine in the lead up to the hack, and they say that actually no, SolarWinds had reason to believe everything wasn't absolutely hunky-dory fine, and they shouldn't have told investors that. And then when it all went pear-shaped, the investors lost money, and therefore that is I'm not sure if it's a crime, but it's certainly an issue. And just to remind us that the likes of the NSO groups Pegasus continue to cause problems. We don't know specifically which of these greyware spying apps is in use. Apple didn't give that information out, but we do know that Apple sent a proactive notification to opposition politicians in India to say that there is a state-level actor attempting to attack them and to be on the lookout for that. So they should be using lockdown mode. It's kind of embarrassing here because Apple are simultaneously courting the Indian government and, who's most likely to be spying on Indian opposition leaders other than the Indian government? So it is a little awkward, but anyway, there we are. Moving on to action alerts. I believe...
You are muted.
Good thing. Wait. Unmuted. That's terrible, John.
I do see just in the first line, a typo, Google to hose their malicious ads. I think it's host. Want me to fix that?
Oh, yes. I could not get Grammarly to work in Safari today, so I didn't have it spell checking, and then I can't post the show notes from Mars Edit because we have still have that database problem. So see all the emoji gone, and I can't send from here, so I can't even fix it. Thank you.
Fixed.
Okay. All right. Let me play the end of this.
I'm not claiming there are no other typos. That's the first line.
Yeah, you have to open the desktop app and log in again. So I logged out from the browser and logged back in, but it didn't do it. Just sitting there going, yep, I'm running. Not going to tell you anything.
Right, Alison, I hope I have done an okay job without you. And remember, listeners, until next time, stay patched so you stay secure.
Nice and clean. Okay. All right. No, close you. Yeah. Hang on. Car's going, loud motorcycle going by. Do, 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 do. Okay. Come on. All right, there we go. Well, thank you so much for doing that, Bart. I think it's so funny that you say you don't do a good job without me, but you do a wonderful job without me. And I think that's part of the beauty of our relationship between Bart and me is I feel like I'm kind of superfluous. I'm just that person interrupting him, and he thinks I'm critical to it. So that's why we both love doing it together, because we both think we fit perfectly together. Anyway, that is going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeed.com anytime you like? If you have questions or suggestions, just send it on over. You can follow me on Mastodon at podfeet@chaos.social. And remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. If you want to join in the fun of the conversation, you can join our Slack community at podfeet.com/Slack. And in fact, that's where you should go to tell me the stories of all the times you didn't put the right name field in the first sacred slot in a database transfer. Anyway, you can also talk to me and all of the other lovely NosillaCastaways in there. You can support the show at podfeet.com/Patreon or with a one-time donation at podfeet.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Have a wonderful week. This week, everybody, words of Sandy, save chapter mark. Oh, no, now, let's see.
Chapter
Chapter
count.
mark. Oh, he's doing the chapter mark count. Wow, good job.
Good job. All right.
I think I've only got 4.
And you don't have a marker. Do you have a chapter mark for Jill? You must.
I do have a chapter
Okay.
mark, but no URL. So I just have 4. And the show's an hour and 14 minutes.
And you don't have one for support the show? Because that would
do.
be 5.
What are your 5?
Oh, Cord Killers isn't a chapter mark. Okay.
Oh, actually it is. Yep, there is a 5th one. Yes, it is. You're right.
Okay. So we're good on 5.
Yep. All right. Looks like kids are sneaking out of class as quickly as possible here.
Yeah. Can't blame them.
Oh, you finally given in to doing Slack. Yes, good, Kurt. At 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed.
So I've always wondered about your ducking. You start the volume up again about 2 seconds after you stop talking.
I don't know how many seconds it is.
It's 1 or 2. But usually the duck should start up right after.
So they don't have automatic ducking. You want it more like this? Listening and stay subscribed.
It's better.
Okay. That's fine. I just make it
I'm picky.
after and not too far after. But
Yeah.
I can make it more right after.
It's
The
better
problem,
right
I wish
after.
they had auto ducking, and they don't. You have to take it and do the waveform every time. So I just saved it with it ducked like that, and then I slide it back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's a manual operation, which I don't understand why that can't be automatic.
Well,
Silly.
maybe a note to the Hindenburgers.
Maybe. All right. I'm going to export session. I'm going to let class go.
Yeah, I think we should.
And I think I'm going to fall asleep at 8. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. Nice to see you again, Ian. Been a long time.
Yeah. Thanks
Alrighty.
for coming, chat room. We
Bye.
appreciate it.